Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Hey guys, happy new year. Hope everyone had a lovely Christmas if they celebrate and had an enjoyable new year. Last year I did an episode where I predicted what the job market would look like in 2025 and I gave you a little bit of advice. I thought we should just do it again because your girl hit some nails on the head. Like, I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit because a lot of what I said in that episode has happened throughout 2025. And I was talking about it for a while on my social media and different things like that. And I did say, like, let's revisit and see what happens, see if I'm right, because I was worried that I was just saying stuff that might not be right. However, looking at the job market, looking at the trends, just seeing what's going on, 2026 is going to be another wild ride. So let's talk about how you navigate it, how you help it work in your favor, whether you're staying in your current job or moving to a new role. Let's get into all the things. Before I do that, let's look back at 2025 because I do want to talk about some of the things that have happened and some of the things that can continue to happen now. So I know a lot of people they said in 2024 that they wouldn't job search and they were waiting for 2025. And I know so many of the people that said that to me regretted it because 2025 was worse. It was absolute chaos. And the reason for the chaos is because there are so many changes happening in the tech world and in our economies and just in the whole global, like the world in general. There are a lot of things changing, a lot of things happening, a lot of political things happening that's affecting all of us, and it's affecting the job market and it's affecting a lot of things. So I predicted that more companies would ask people to come back to the office, and they did. We knew that was going to happen, though. Let's be honest. That wasn't really a prediction. Like, you didn't need to be Mystic Meg to figure that out. Like, companies had already started to do it, and more companies did it. They asked people to come back to the office. But what I do want to say is for all the companies that made everyone come back and your revenue still didn't increase, what was the reason? In my Cardi B voice, what was the reason? Why did you get everyone to come back to the office? I don't understand. You said like, oh, everyone has to come back to the office. People are more productive. That's how we're going to make more profits and more money. But you didn't. Your revenue still went down. So getting people in the office did not increase revenue. Shock horror. I've said it before. Having people in the office full time doesn't make them more productive. It depends on the person. Some people do need to be in the office. I'm going to be real with you guys. You guys know I've said it before. Some people cannot work on their own because they literally won't do anything. They do nothing. I've worked with people like that. I had a staff member who said to me, when I'm not in the office, Adele, I don't do anything. I literally go out, go shopping, hang out with my friends. She's like, I need a little bit of management. And I get it. She's like, I also need people to bounce off of and talk to. So some people need that office environment. I've got a friend who's like, when I'm at home, nothing gets done because family treat me like I'm at home. They don't realize I'm working. So my other half wants something. My kids want something. People call me because they're like, oh, you're working from home today, innit? And she's like, it doesn't work. Versus when she's in the office, she gets stuff done. Now, for some of us, we're more productive at home. Like, I'm way more productive at home. My job gets so much more work from me when I'm at home than they do when I'm in the office. Because when I'm in the office, I am networking, I am chatting, I am doing a lot of FaceTime so that I can build my relationships. But when I'm at home, I'm not doing that so much. So they actually get way more work. They definitely get more than 8 hours work out of me when I'm at home. Because even if I stop and start. And I'll notice that the time goes and then next week I know it's 7 o'clock and why am I still logged in? Unacceptable. Versus when I go to the office, I have to commute time. So I have to think of like, okay, I need to leave at this time to get there for like 9 o'clock. Then I'm working, but then I need to leave at like 4, 5 because I need to get home by like 6, 7 because no one wants to be home at 8 o'clock. So it does, like, being in the office messes up your day. And I only work 2 days a week. So Working 2 days a week and then going into the office is already hard. But I'm a remote worker, luckily, who only goes into the office every few weeks. But I'm more productive at home. I think it is very important for companies to look at their staff and who they have on their team. And I think hybrid models are great. So where people can work remotely, but they come into the office, because let's be real, coming into the office is helpful for junior staff. It's helpful for all of us sometimes to get a little bit of FaceTime. And I know all my introverts are screaming and saying, no, Adele, it's not helpful for any of us. It is, guys. Like, as much as I hate it, like, I don't like going to the office. I would be happy never to go to the office again. But it does help us, because sometimes I will meet like my work colleagues or my work little bestie, and we'll bounce off each other, and I'll learn something new that I didn't even realize that I needed to learn. Like, it's good. But I don't think we need to be in the office the whole time. And for all the companies that forced it, where are you now? Anyway, next thing I wanted to talk about that I think is going to happen this year in 2026. So before I jump, going back to the office, I don't think it's going to change. I don't think companies are suddenly going to reverse it and be like, oh yeah, everyone work remote. I think they're still going to keep you guys in the office because they want to see what you're doing, and they feel like everyone's skiving off and they can monitor you in the office. And also a lot of them have got leases. They have paid for those offices up until 2027. So them offices being empty doesn't help them because it's a loss to them. So they need you in the office. Now, when 2027 comes, or 2026, when some of their leases run out, like this year, maybe some companies will be like, well, maybe we're not going to renew. It's really expensive. Maybe we can get a smaller office. And if they get a smaller office, then more people will be able to work hybrid, because you won't all be able to fit in the office at one time. So yes, I do think they're going to keep you in the office. However, I do think as leases start to run out, whenever that is, 2020, this year, 2026, 2027, 28, whatever it is, I think companies will start rethinking their models. That said, that leads me to my next prediction. I think more companies are going to outsource departments offshore. Do you remember years back? I don't know how many years back. It could be 10 years. It could be 8 years. I can't even remember. I feel like it's 10 years or more. When loads of companies outsourced their work to other countries, and all the call centers were in other countries. And then they slowly had to bring some of them back. So like banks and don't get me wrong, they still outsourced, but they had to bring some call centers back into the UK. They had to bring like EE, like different phone networks. And sorry for mentioning just EE, but loads of phone networks. They all had to bring their people back into the UK. Because people complain. They were like, I'm calling up, the person I'm talking to doesn't understand what I'm saying. It's really hard, because obviously if English isn't their first language, it becomes a problem. So they had to bring it back. However, I think more companies are going to go back the other way. I think they're going to start outsourcing again. It is expensive to run a business in the UK. That's it. Simple and straightforward. If you're a solopreneur like me, just me, one-man band, it's very different. But if you own a company, a limited company, like you guys know, I had a first aid company. I had that for like 9 years, almost 10. Like, we had the first aid company for years. And we did loads of different trainings, but just paying staff, paying like HMRC, or VAT, all those things are super expensive for companies. And you've got to remember, the UK government has helped us by saying, right, we're making it so that you keep more of your money. But that being said, it means that employers have to pay higher national insurance fees for us. Now, yes, everyone's saying, but I pay my national insurance. Yes, you do, but your employer also has to pay towards your PAYE. So they have to pay extra tax and extra national insurance for every single individual employee that they have, even though we already pay tax and national insurance. Know that the government will always get their money. So employers are having to pay higher NI, higher tax contributions. The first thing they're going to look at is, how can we reduce staff costs? Because staff costs are one of their biggest bills. And if you've not worked in senior management, if you've not worked in leadership, if you've not been a CEO of a company or a CFO, you will not know how much goes on at the top and what the budgets look like. And people is one of their biggest budgets. They lose a lot of money on hiring people. That's why when people don't perform, they want to get rid of people quickly, because it's like, well, you're not making me any money, but I'm losing money by paying you. So you've got to think, for a company who has a big staffing bill, outsourcing makes sense. They're going to cut their staffing costs in half. Now, it doesn't make sense for us, because it means if they outsource stuff to offshore teams, it means the people here in the UK have less work. But I think that is going to be a thing this year. I think companies are going to outsource smaller departments, like smaller admin departments, smaller admin roles, where teams might have been a team of like 8. The team might only need to be like 2 or 4 because they can outsource a lot of their work overseas. So I think that should be something that people should keep their eye on. I've already slowly started to see companies restructuring and moving things around. So I think that's a big thing that might start to happen. Now this one, I want to get into this. I'm going to get into it straight away because I know you lot are waiting for me to talk about AI. I told you at the start of last year that AI wasn't going anywhere, and it hasn't. If anything, companies are using it more and more. They're using it for job adverts, for shortlisting. They're using it for interviews. Like, people are being interviewed by AI because the first round of interviews, people can't be bothered to do it, clearly, at companies. So they're getting AI to do it, which, do I agree with? Not necessarily. I don't think AI is sophisticated enough yet to understand all the human nuances. So it will read certain things on camera that it thinks, like body language wise, it thinks it means one thing when actually it might mean something else. It reads your voice patterns and it might think one thing and something else. For instance, I speak super fast. You guys know this. You don't even need to put me on 2 times speed. I just speak fast. AI interprets that as nerves. So me talking, I'm super confident when it comes to me talking about my zone of genius. But AI will interpret the speed, my speech pattern, as being super nervous, and it will score me less because of things like that. So that's what I mean by AI doesn't understand subtle nuances of human beings. So do I think it's a good idea? No, not necessarily, not at the moment. I think it could be in the future, but I also understand that it's not going anywhere. So we have to figure out how to work with it, because you can't work against something that's already here. It's been here, it's growing, companies are using it. Again, it's another way for them to reduce staffing. If AI can do interviews, they don't need as many people to do interviews. Now, for someone like me who is in human resources and recruitment and in that kind of world, that's not great, but it is what it is. So if you're in recruitment, if you're in human resources, we have to start to think, how can we utilize AI to work in our favor? But for anyone job searching, I know that it's intimidating and it's weird when you've got to like record a video, or you've got to sit and the computer's talking to you, but there's no one visibly there. I think that's really hard, speaking into the void. Like, even when I first had to speak on Instagram, when like I hated it because I was like, there's no one responding to me. Like, it's weird. Recording videos is weird. My daughter, she's in university, but she is currently looking for internships, and she's had to do a lot of that where they ask 3 questions and she has to record herself answering them. And sometimes a human is going to review those answers, which is amazing. But a lot of times AI is reviewing your answers and it is making a decision and then telling the human if this person is worth them looking at or going to the next stage. Now, some companies are still using the human to double check AI and to sense check it and to make sure everything's okay, but a lot of companies aren't. So I think it's important for you to know that. And if you are navigating AI interviews this year, just know I have updated my interview guide for 2026. It's got all the 2026 strategies in there. It's got all the AI stuff in there. It is only £17, guys. But yeah, I've updated my interview guide. Go ahead, head over, purchase it. I am now on Substack, guys. If you don't know, get to know. You can access a lot of my stuff on Substack. I'm going to be doing all my newsletters this year through Substack rather than MailChimp. We're going to see how that goes. But yeah, I'm over there now. Anyway, if you want to connect with me, you know where it is, guys. Link in bio or link in the show notes at the end of the podcast. Right, back to what I was talking about. AI is also going to consolidate some admin work that teams do. Again, it kind of links into the offshore thing. Because AI can do a lot of admin tasks really quickly, it can summarize emails, it can send meeting notes. Like, you don't need someone to take minutes anymore in meetings. Like, you just tell AI to summarize the points and send everyone who had actions in that meeting, send them their actions. Like, that reduces the workload of someone admin who might have done that before. Executive assistants are still going to be needed, but they need to be able to use AI because AI shortens a lot of processes. So that being said, because AI is going to consolidate a lot of admin work, like basic admin work, it means teams will be reduced. That's the honest truth. Teams will have to be reduced, because if AI is shortening the time frame, why would you need a team of 7 to do admin when AI can do half of it? You can cut that team in half. So I do think things like admin work is going to be reduced. If your team is already small and you lot are saying like, oh, we're really busy, we need more staff, I don't think they're going to get you more staff. I think they'll get you more AI. I don't think they'll get you more staff. But I also think AI will help us more. Yeah? Because think about it. If you've got when I go back from maternity leave, I can't imagine what my inbox is going to look like. But I can get AI to summarize loads of my emails. I can just say, like, do I need to respond to this? Are people waiting for me? Summarize what the key points are in these emails. Like, I won't have to read all the emails. I won't have to go through all the detail. AI can help us. It is something that can help us. It can take our meeting notes. Instead of us having to sit there and take notes, because I'm someone who takes notes for everything, it can do it for us. I still take notes when I speak to coaching clients on calls. The first time I meet someone, I start taking loads of notes. I could just get AI to be in the meeting with me while I'm recording and to take all the meeting minutes and then just to summarize them for me at the end. A lot of people do that already. Like someone I worked with recently who I do hypnotherapy with, she just gets like the little admin thing to like make all the notes and then send them to me at the end. It's the same, guys. Like, AI can help us in our jobs if we let it. And remember, all jobs will not be lost to AI. I do not think we're all losing our jobs to AI. But what I do think is we will lose jobs. You will lose your job if you don't know how to use AI. So jobs will be lost to people who don't learn to, like, people who don't learn to use it. You'll lose your jobs to people who do know how to use it. It's as simple as that. But yes, do I think some teams will be reduced and some jobs will be like disappear? In a few years, there are going to be some jobs that don't exist because of AI. However, there will be jobs that are created because of AI. So it will balance out. AI is kind of like when the internet came in and people were like, oh my gosh, like if you're as old as me, you remember encyclopedias. We used to have encyclopedias from A to Z where if you needed to learn something, you'd go and look it up. Libraries, if you needed to research something, you'd go and sit in the library. Now we just Google it. The internet changed everything. It put encyclopedia companies out of business because who needs an encyclopedia when you can just go to Wikipedia? Not that you should do that, please. Do not use Wikipedia because any of us can update it. I like Wikipedia, FYI, but I'm just saying, use like reliable sources when you're doing like your research, especially if it's for like studying and stuff like that. However, like I was saying, we used to have encyclopedias and all these things. And then the internet came along and people were like, oh my gosh, it's going to take away people's jobs and people aren't going to be able to need printed stuff anymore. And there's not going to be bookshops anymore because people are going to be able to read everything online. And let's be true, bookshops are still there. People still like physical books. There are still people in this world that like physical books. Yes, a lot less maybe than like 20, 30 years ago, or 100 years ago even, but there's still people who like books. So yes, I think people had to adapt. So we end up getting things like Kindle. So people still wrote books, but you got them online. Like what I'm saying is that's how AI feels right now. People were worried when the internet came in and now we all love it. It's the same with AI. It's something new that we don't understand. So right now, everyone feels like they're losing jobs or losing work to AI, when eventually we'll start making jobs with AI. And remember, AI cannot replace human connection, human thought, human creativity. If you are still using your humanness, you will always stand out. If you are still connecting and making relationships at work, you will always stand out because it's our humanness that separates us from AI. So yes, that's my bit on AI. And again, I'm going to say, all jobs will not be lost to AI. They'll be lost to people who know how to use AI. Next topic, networking. In 2025, I told you need to be on it, and it has not changed. 2026, you need to be on it. I'm going to be honest, the 2026 job market is looking very much like the 2025 job market. It is the Wild West. It is chaos. There is no rhythm or rhyme to anything. People are still getting ghosted and it's going to continue. Like, you're going to apply for jobs and hear nothing back, not because you weren't suitable, but because they already had 30 applications before you even submitted yours that were suitable and those people got shortlisted. They didn't even look at your CV. That's the reality. That is how it's moving now. So before I jump into networking, actually, that's a quick tip. If you are applying to jobs right now, the first 48, 72 hours, that's the best time to apply. I am not saying that if you see a job that's been open for a week, you shouldn't apply. You should apply, but don't be surprised if you don't get shortlisted. Don't be surprised if you get ghosted. What's for you is for you. Like, I was working with a client recently and all the jobs we applied for when the job was newly opened, she got more responses from them. Not all of them, but more than the ones that were like 2-3 weeks old. However, there was one role that was more than 2 weeks old. She applied for, she got shortlisted, she got an interview. So it's not that you won't ever get an interview for jobs that have been posted for 2, 3, 4 weeks, but it might be harder, especially if there's high volume of applications that are good. The issue is you don't know, when you see 100 applications, you don't know if them 100 applications are good. So do not look at the application count and think, oh, I'm not going to apply because they've already got loads of applications. I am just saying that in some situations, and a lot of situations that have happened recently, the first few applications have been so good that recruiters aren't even getting to the rest. And the recruiters are talking about this on LinkedIn. They are openly discussing this and they're letting you know this is the reason sometimes you're not getting shortlisted. So I want you to not take it personally. Aim to apply for jobs within the first 72 hours. But if you see a job you love and it's already been out for 2 weeks, still apply. Make sure your CV is top notch, but still apply. And this is where networking comes in. Reach out to the recruiter. If you're using LinkedIn and it shows you who the hiring team are, get emails, reach out to them. Say to them, I'm applying to this job, but I can see it's been open for a couple of weeks. Have you already started the shortlisting process? I have, and then give them 3 key points that you have. So I'm really interested in this role. Because if you give them 3 key points, the key points are in the job description, guys, that you know you can do that they're looking for, then they're more likely to respond to you because they're like, oh, this person ticks all the boxes. Let's quickly reach back out to them. So that's a good tip for networking. But the reason I want you to network in 2026 isn't even just about like getting the interviews or getting the referrals. For anyone who's job searching right now, when you are going for interviews, you want to understand what companies are looking for right now. If you haven't interviewed for a while, if you are writing your CV and you're not sure what to keep or what to take out, you need to network. You can ask people who are already doing that job or who have done that job, what should I keep in my CV? What do companies look for when they're shortlisting in this role? What type of thing should I be talking about at interview? What's most important? Now, yes, the job advert, job description, that tells you that information, but there is nothing like going to the source. People who have done the job on the day-to-day. You going to them and asking them, what was your job? What did your job look like? That helps you. They're going to use industry terminology that you might not necessarily know of because you haven't interviewed for a while or your company is a bit older and now you're going to a newer company and you need to know some of the industry terminology. They can share that with you and then you can drop little gems into your interview and be like, and know the words, know the lingo, know the terminology that's being used in that industry or in that role specifically. When I switched in 2023, when I got my current part-time job, listen, some of the stuff they were talking about, I was like, pardon? They used a lot of abbreviations. They used words I'd never even heard of. The terminology, I was like, whoa, like, whoa. So networking and speaking to people can be super helpful with helping you just to understand. Because if people are using terminology that you're not familiar with, they might ask you a question at interview that you think you don't know the answer to, when actually they're just using words that you don't understand, but you've done the thing that they're asking you. So that's my tip for networking. I need you to do it. Introvert or not, I need you to do it. Extroverts, go for it because I know you lot are comfortable with it. Reach out to people on LinkedIn, reach out to people on Instagram, talk to people, ask questions, get help. It's really important. I remember someone listening to the podcast and then reaching out to me and saying, I wanted to network with me. And I was like, oh, what for? You want me to help you with work? They were like, no, I want to network. I want to ask you questions about your industry and stuff like that. And I always think it's good to expand the network. It was such a good chat. We still speak now. I really like her, but just think like network with people. Also, she's top of mind for me. If I ever hear about a job in the industry that she's in, I would let her know just because we networked, we got to know each other. She's top of mind. I'm in recruitment. A lot of people I know are either in recruitment or human resources for loads of different companies in different countries, not just in the UK. So I'm always speaking to people. I'm always hearing about random roles by accident sometimes. And it was just interesting to have connected with her. And like I said, she stays top of mind. So that's why you want to network. It might not be something that gives you instant help or instant gratification, but long term, it will help you. And even in the short term, when it comes to, like I said, CVs and interviews, it is helpful. Yeah. A piece of advice for this job market: stop editing your CV. Oh my gosh. You do not need to edit your CV 5 million times. It's not your CV. It's the job market. The job market is chaos. There's nothing wrong with your CV. And I know you're looking or listening to this and saying, but Adele, I've applied for 10 jobs and I haven't had any responses. Cool. I'm not saying that you can't look at the CV, but constantly changing your CV is the issue. It is pretty normal these days to apply for like 8-10 jobs and not hear anything back. Now, if you're applying to 80 jobs and not hearing anything, that's a problem. If you're applying to 50 jobs even and not hearing, that's a problem. Yes, we should have heard something back. Then it's your CV. But the reason I'm telling you don't keep editing your CV is once you have a good rewrite of your CV, like a good rewrite, the only part you should need to edit is the personal profile. Like when you're applying to different jobs and the job advert's slightly different, you might need to change a few words in the personal profile and you may need to move the bullet points up or down. some bullet points are more relevant for certain jobs. Certain jobs want to hear more about, I don't know, your relationship building and your customer service or your client services. You need to put the client service bullet points higher up in the list. But if they're looking for people who are more sales and they talk more about sales, so they still talk about relationship building, but they focus a lot on sales in the job advert, you need to move your sales bullet points up. If they talk more about technical things and technical skills, you need to move your tech skills up. What I'm saying is your bullet points at the start of each job should be the main ones that connect you to the job advert or connect you to the job description. You shouldn't have them buried at number 5 or 6 are the key ones. The key ones should be higher up. And key bullet points are going to be different for different jobs sometimes. Sometimes you have to do nothing to your CV. The job reads the same, like 3 job adverts, 3 different companies, but they all read very much the same CV. Why are we editing it? However, I'm seeing people rewrite their entire CV 5, 10 times, getting AI to do the CV for them. And they're like, Adele, it's not working, because just chill. Even CVs I write 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I knew if I wrote a CV for someone, they was getting shortlisted for nearly every single job that they applied to. I know now, because of the job market, if I write a CV for someone, they're applying for about 5 jobs and they're probably getting callbacks from about 2. And that's the truth. Sometimes 3. They're getting callbacks, but it's not going to be all 5 because that's not the job market. It just isn't that at the moment, especially if you're not adding in the networking and things like that. And talking about CVs, guys, I'm going to need you to back off the AI. Back all the way off. Okay? All the way off. The way you are writing CVs with AI, it's a mess. It's generic. That's why you're not getting shortlisted. I'm going to give you a couple ideas and prompts if you're going to use AI. AI is your assistant. It is not someone who can rewrite your entire CV. This is why. AI, you're going to put the job description in and say, I've got this experience, make me a CV. AI is going to make the top CV. Think Joey in Friends in the episode where he wrote the letter for the adoption agency, and every word he rewrote it with the thesaurus. That's what AI is doing. It's generic. It doesn't really make that much sense, and it doesn't make you stand out because everyone is doing the same thing. You're dropping the job description into AI and saying, what should I write in my personal profile? AI is spitting out the exact same thing. It's also very obvious when AI has written the CV because it puts them little hyphens in between every word very unnecessarily. None of us write like that. I don't care if in proper English, some words should have the hyphen. If you don't naturally hyphenate things, we don't as humans. It looks weird. Like if you put problem hyphen solving, why? That's not how we write problem solving. AI might tell you, oh yeah, it's supposed to be. No, people know that it's AI because you did that. As soon as people see it, they're like, no, I'm not shortlisting. It's a waste of time. It's not real. Also, AI doesn't know how to talk about your results or quantify like your results or write all your metrics. What you need to do if you're going to use AI, you need to say to it, this is the job advert. This is my current personal profile. And you need to break your CV up into pieces. Don't drop the whole CV in. Say, this is my current personal profile. Also, these are some results that I have delivered that match the job description. You need to write in all the results that you've delivered. You then need to say to AI, can you help me write a job personal profile, including some of my results, and make it specifically tailored to me? AI will come up with something. You need to read it. Does it sound generic or does it sound like you? Has it used words like thesaurus words that you would never use? Tell it to rewrite it. Like AI loves to use forged as a word, like enhanced, forged. Now we all use enhanced, so I'll let that one go. But there are certain words it loves to use. We don't need to use fostered. What? Like, please. Every other line doesn't need to say fostered. Every other line doesn't need to say forged. Guys, we need to be realistic. Yes, you need to upgrade the language in your CV when you're going for more leadership or senior roles, but you need to use words that you understand, that you would use, and that make sense in your CV. I'm seeing junior roles or people that are going for entry-level roles and the CV's reading like a senior CV. You're not getting shortlisted. We know it's AI. It's too much. Yeah. So ask AI specifically. You need to get AI to rewrite things like 5 times sometimes. So say it rewrites a profile and you're like, thanks, this is a good start. But please, can you give it a little bit more of a relaxed tone, similar to my original profile that I dropped in for you? That's a good prompt. Or can you give it a slightly more professional tone? Or can you replace some of these words and give it the words that you want it to replace with words that you feel I would use based on my current CV? We need to give AI a little bit of help. Yeah? We need to tell AI what we want it to do. AI is not perfect. Humans coded AI. So it can't be perfect. So I need you to back away from AI, back away from getting it to fully rewrite your CV. Yes, AI is a tool and we should use it. Use it to help you rewrite that CV. Yes, I'm all for it. But you need to then read the CV and humanize the CV. And that's what it is. The CVs are too generic. The resumes are too generic. People don't want to, like, recruiters are like, nope, nope. Someone the other day on LinkedIn made a joke and she was like, I'm just going to make loads of spelling mistakes on my CV and send it out because I'll probably get shortlisted. And she's probably right. Not that you should have loads of spelling mistakes, but the more simple the CV, I think, in this job market will be, the easier you'll get shortlisted, because recruiters are tired of seeing the same CV 25 times. They're tired of reading the same CV with no results, no evidence that it's you, just a generic CV that reads like the job advert. Your CV looks like a job description. That's not what they want. What are the outcomes and results that you can deliver? So they don't want to know that you use Excel. They don't want to know that you use Power BI. How do you use Power BI? Have you used Power BI dashboards to predict trends which helped you to increase revenue or retain more clients? I want you to think about that. That's the bullet point. The bullet point isn't utilizing Power BI on a weekly basis or whatever it is. It's how did you utilizing Power BI to predict trends of customer buying, which increased revenue by 16% last quarter. Now you can summarize that and make it shorter. Again, that's how AI can help you. You can say to AI, help me summarize this bullet point without losing the impact or the result. AI will make that bullet point sound better, but without losing your specific results and outcomes. That is what's important. So that's how I want you to use AI. Can you shorten my personal profile without losing my results and the human personalization? These are prompts that I want you to use when you're using the chat or the Copilot, Gemini, any of them, Claude. There's so many. Any of them that you're using, I want you to make sure you're talking to it and not just accepting that it gives you a draft and you're like, it's perfect, AI wrote it. No. Also, if you're a recruiter and you're listening, you used AI to write your job advert. Stop penalizing people for using AI to help them with their CV. I'm just putting that out there because, listen, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Leaving your current job. I want to talk about this. This is some more advice. Don't rush to leave your job. Be calculated. I'm not telling you to stay in your job. Like, a lot of people will be like, oh, I'm waiting for 2026 because I thought it was going to be better. It's not going to be better. And don't now say you're going to wait till 2027. Please, it's not getting better. We even need to utilize what we have in our current jobs. So get pay rises, get better job titles, get promotions in our current roles, or be calculated about leaving and going to another role. You currently have a job. You are good. You can save money. You can do whatever you need to do while you plan your move. When you're planning your move, I want you to look out for red flags. I want you to look at the company. Is it a growing company? Is it a stagnant company? Why is the role available? Has the company recently restructured and made the business smaller? Like, these are all really important before you move to a new company. I don't believe there's job stability. So before anyone's like, oh, if you're in a stable job, there's no point in leaving. No, there's no job stability. You will think your job is stable and then tomorrow they let go of like 35 people and you're one of those 35 people. Job security doesn't exist right now. Not in this economy, not in this job market. But what does exist is you being calculated, you thinking about your next move. Does it make sense? Does the company make sense? Don't be in such a rush to leave where you are that you end up in somewhere the same or worse. Can your current company help you do anything? Like, do you want to change in job title? I've gotten people to change my job title because I knew that job title would help me get a higher paying role out in my industry. So they were like, oh, Adele, we can only give you a small pay rise. And I'd be like, cool, but I want a job title change because I think my responsibilities reflect X, Y, Z. And then I've negotiated with them and they've given me a different job title. That job title in my mind, I was like, right, I'm only going to stay for another 6 months or another year because then I'm going to leave. And that job title is now going to help me get like 30K extra on my salary just because the job title. You know how it is sometimes, guys. Just your job title alone makes people think you've done this big, fantastic job. And if you've got a lower job title, you might be doing all the same things, all the same duties as the person with the higher job title, but just that job title makes a massive difference. So yeah, what are we negotiating in our current jobs? Even in your current job, if you want to negotiate salary, do your research. What's the current industry paying? How much how much do you think you should be earning based on the results you deliver? Like, what profits are you making in your company, or what money are you saving in your company? Now, how much of that percentage wise, do you think you can ask for back? Like, because you're making the money and you're committed to continuing to make the money. There's a lot you can do when it comes to negotiating in your current jobs. I've helped so many people get like 12, 15, 20K in their current jobs. So why not think about that first? And also, even if you are going to leave, why not get as much as you can from your current job before you leave? I'm just saying. So yeah, guys, don't rush. Don't be in a hurry, because that's when you make mistakes. Be calculated with your next move. Go for interviews. If you don't enjoy the interviews or you don't enjoy the company, don't leave your job. Remember, you've got a job. That's the best place to be. So while you're like, literally, it's like you're vetting, reviewing, it's like you're dating. You are dating these other companies to see which one is for you. And when you get the offer and the offer that you want, then you leave your current job. Yeah, so take your time. Again, there's no job stability in this current economy. It doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. When people say to me, I've got a stable job, I'm like, listen, God bless. I hope it stays that way. But I don't believe there's such thing as a stable job. I do think there are good jobs. And that if you have a great job and you're happy in your job, why are you leaving? Yeah. Don't leave because you hear people like me saying, oh, you can get 30K extra. If you love what you do, you earn what you want to earn, you can pay all your bills and you can travel and you can eat and you can do all the things that you want to do, because you might not want to travel. There might be other things you want to do in your life and you are able to currently afford those. That's a privilege. If you've got extra money and you are able to live a life that you're enjoying, that is a privilege. If you've got money in your bank, that is a privilege. If you have savings, an emergency fund, stocks, that is a privilege. Yeah. Don't feel pressured by society or anyone that you hear to leave a job that you enjoy. But if you do not enjoy your job and you are spending 40 hours a week, 30 hours a week miserable, then yes, I need you to be calculated and start thinking about your next move. First things first, rewrite your CV. That's the first thing. We don't have to jump and do everything at once. Let's rewrite the CV and start looking at jobs that we can apply to, and then start the application process. You don't have to leave your job tomorrow. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow. It might take 3 months to get a new job. It might take 6 months. That's okay. You're working towards your next move. Work at your pace and keep it moving. Guys, I hope this has been helpful. I hope that I've dropped some knowledge on you guys. Let's see how it works out. Let's see if my predictions are right. Let's hope my advice will help you as always. If you need support, I have got all my masterclasses up and ready to help you guys out. You can go ahead, purchase them. You literally just click on my website or click on the link in my bio on LinkedIn, Instagram, any of those places. Head straight over, decide which masterclass you want, whether it's project paid for negotiating, my CV surgery, the interview one. Like, go ahead, fill your boots. Those masterclasses have really helped people double, triple their income. They have helped people secure job offers in new industries or their current industries. They've helped people upgrade, get the promotions. Like, they've helped so many people. So head over there. If you want to work with me one-on-one and you want more personalized support, as always, book a consultation call. Let's chat. I'm not taking as many clients as the moment because I am still partly on maternity leave. So I am only taking a certain amount of clients at a time. But go ahead, jump in my diary, book a consultation call, or book your service. Go straight to booking your service if you want, and we can go from there. Guys, I'm looking forward to 2026 and seeing what happens. I'm scared because, again, it's going to be unpredictable, but I'm also very intrigued to see how things are going to pan out. AI is not going anywhere. I just want to say it one more time. Start thinking about how you can use it to your advantage. Start thinking about how you can use AI to make yourself look good, but also to show your company how well you use it and how adaptable and flexible you are, because I do feel like these are the people that are going to be the ones elevating in work and getting better jobs when they learn to use AI to their advantage. Anyway, as always, I will speak to you in the next episode. Enjoy the rest of your week. I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.